Most people aren't stuck because of failure. They're stuck because of how they interpret that failure in their own minds. The same event happens. The same outcome doesn't go as planned. One person pauses for a moment, extracts a lesson and moves forward, lighter. Another person holds on to a very dangerous conclusion. This says something about who I am. From that moment on, failure is no longer data. It becomes a verdict. It's not failure that weighs you down. It's the negative story you keep telling yourself after the failure. And if we stop here, there's a crucial question that needs to be clarified. In the Stoic view, people don't suffer because of what happens. They suffer because of the meaning they assign to what happens. That's why, from the same failure, one person moves forward while another stays frozen. Because failure by itself is neither positive nor negative. It's simply raw data. An outcome. Feedback from reality. A gap between what you expected and what actually occurred. Things only become heavy in the next step, when the data is misread. Do you let it slide immediately into a conclusion about yourself? I'm not good enough. I always mess things up. Or do you keep just enough distance to read it correctly? Because here's an important truth. Failure doesn't teach you anything on its own. It doesn't come with a lesson attached. It doesn't explain itself. You are the one who must extract the lesson, and to do that you need a different way of reading it. People who grow sustainably don't deny failure. They don't romanticize it either. They do one very specific thing. They turn failure into a clear lesson without excess emotion. No self-blame, no justification, just a direct look at what happened and an insight they can reuse. You can see this clearly in the story of J.K. Rowling. Before Harry Potter was published, Rowling lived on welfare, was rejected repeatedly, and reached a very real sense of failure. But what matters isn't that situation itself, it's how she read it. She didn't conclude, "This failure defines who I am." She also didn't soothe herself with vague positive thinking. Instead, she treated that period as a very specific lesson. When there was nothing left to lose, she could write what she truly believed. Not chase expectations, not try to please the market. Failure in her reading wasn't an emotional burden. It was a point of reorientation. And because the lesson was clear and neutral, it became actionable. I recognized this through my own experience. There was a period when every time I revisited an old failure, I didn't extract a lesson. I extracted a bad feeling about myself. I asked, "What's wrong with me?" That question didn't help me move forward. It only kept me stuck. Everything changed when I changed the question. Not, "What's wrong with me?" but, "If this is a lesson, what is it trying to teach me?" In that moment, failure stopped being a burden. It became personal training material. To do this consistently, I needed a very clear framework. Data. Lesson frame, action event. What actually happened? Facts only, no interpretation. Data. What didn't work? Lesson frame. What specifically needs adjustment? Action. What will I do differently next time? On purpose. No erasing failure, no feeding negative emotion, just converting it into a reusable lesson. And once this frame is clear, application becomes simple. Write down one past failure you're still carrying. Answer 2 questions, without emotion. What didn't work? What do I need to do differently next time? Then rewrite that failure in 1 or 2 neutral, learning-oriented sentences. From now on, whenever the old story returns, only allow the lesson version to speak. All self-convicting narratives. Stop here. The past doesn't disappear. And it doesn't need to. But its role can change. When you reframe failure from a verdict into a lesson that serves growth, not self-blame, and prepares you to move forward, it stops pulling you down and starts pushing you ahead. Growth is not about thinking more positively. It's about thinking more accurately. Accurate about what happened. Accurate about what needs adjustment. And accurate about this truth. Failure has no right to define who you are. In the next video, we'll talk about another common mistake, when people equate their self-worth with the speed of their progress. No rush, no comparison, just learning how to read your own experience correctly.